So this is Richmond one machine, and yeah, it's a Richmond one machine, and so let me prepare the ingredients there, and then yeah, so we don't have a table today, so we just put the ingredients on the noodle machine. But like, so basically the wheat flour, so basically the wheat flour, kind of wheat flour we use, right, is like kind of wheat flour we use for regular ramen noodles, and um, so we've done like many types like yakisoba noodles before, and then the typical, the most frequently done, you know, is this one that uses the wheat flour and whole egg powder, and for the liquid, we just add the salt and kansi into the water. And so egg, whole egg powder, it's like that's eggs in powder form, kind of dried egg, and yeah, we use that kind of egg in Japan, and yeah, that's the percentage of egg whole egg powder is like well just 2% of the total of the solid ingredients, and so we're going to add liquid into the mixer. And this is a 10 kilogram mixer, and the minimum batch is 4 kilograms, so that's what we're doing this mixer right now. And she added the liquid, and liquid is slowly added to the flour, little by little. And yeah, so basically made the dough in advance, right? Exactly the same recipe, exactly the same recipe, and we're going to what we're going to do now is that like we're going to make sheet of dough out of this dough, right? So we are making like we are like feeding this dough into the roller. There are two rollers in this machine, and um, yeah, we can adjust the roller gap between these two rollers, and then yeah, and then so the dough is going pass through this gap, right? And then um, the dough gets turned into a sheet, right? Sheet of dough, and yeah, that's what we're doing. So it's a sheet of dough, and it's coming out, and you're going to wind it onto the rolling pin, and yeah, so we're just gonna get it wound up on the rolling pin. So the first process is just to make like a rough sheet of dough, and it's kind of forcing the scrambled dough into well the sheet shape, and then so that's what we're doing. So yakisoba is very different different type of noodles from like ramen noodles, but like because they need to be like well stir fried, and like basically the surface of noodles are gonna have to like get burnt, and so it's like after you cook the noodles, and then the core, and you know certain areas will be like kind of chewy, but like outer surface noodles like they get burned, right? Like the high heat, the like frying pan or like the hot plate, right? So like these noodles would have to like endure that like high heat and like stir frying like for some period of time. And even though you make the noodles in a certain way, like and then you can actually eat these noodles as like ramen noodle, like hot soup noodle, but yeah, but like if you eat them like in a hot soup and then you eat them like in stir fried noodles as stuffing noodles, like the texture would be like very different. So um, you'd have to consider the sort of like the final kind of like the texture that your customers actually experience, right, when you're making noodles. So and after the first like sheeting process, that's like we call rough forming, and the dough is like still very fragile, right? And so what we're doing is that like we're well separating it into two, right? Two separate sheets, and combine them through the roller. So this way we are strengthening the dough, and yeah, so basically it's like kind of kind of like building muscle inside the dough, right? So that like it's gonna have like pretty firm texture, good texture. Yeah, when your customers like bite into them. So compounding process is a kind of process like we also need to do like when you're making ramen noodles and other types of noodles. Like so on this machine, like ramen noodle making machine. Yeah, so we do this process to basically strengthen the noodle texture, like make it stronger, like firmer, and yeah, basically for better texture, better chewier, firmer. And so that was the first one. That was first combined process, and we usually do this process like one or twice, right? And so this is the second round of compounding process. Right, and then so yeah, from this point on, we want to start dusting the dough. So dusting the dough, and because we want to keep it from sticking. And yeah, so this is the automatic duster that this machine has, and then yeah, you can adjust the like volume dusting, how much do you want to dust, depending on the hydration of the dough. And for this dough, the hydration is not that high actually. Like it's like kind of what we call like medium hydration ratio, like I say like 34% or so, and so it's not that wet, and it's it doesn't have like high chance of like getting stuck together, but like um, yeah, but we like just want to make sure that they're not gonna stick, right? So want to dust it, and then after the second combining process, right? So all we do is just thin it, right? Thin it to the final thickness, So we'll just thin it. And so again, like, winding the dough, rolling pin, and dusting. And from this point on, we're going faster and faster. Like we can adjust the speed of the roller, right? We can go faster. Right, and maybe we do another round of thinning. So what's important here is that, like, we want to like thin it gradually, like, a little by little. We don't want to thin it like all at once, like, like say like, 3 millimeter to 0.5 millimeter or something like that, because that would just damage the gluten structure that we've developed so far inside the dough. So yeah, that would damage the noodle texture, and yeah, so we want to go gradually. Right, so that dough like actually passed through the roller gap like 1.5 millimeter right now, and the actual thickness would be is 1.9, 1.8, somewhere around there. So there's a difference between the roller gap we set and actual thickness. And yeah, so basically the difference is like how much, the dough bounces back, like how much is bounced back after it's gone through the roller gap. So that tells us, what's that? Yeah, and then we use this the cutter that actually cuts the dough sheet into the strands of noodles, and the size we're using is number 20, which is 1.5 millimeter in width, and so each noodle strand is going to be like 1.5 millimeter in width, and the thickness is controlled by the roller gap, right? So uh, we usually aim at thickness like 1.3 and width of 1.5 in this case. So yeah, let's start cutting. And yeah, yakisoba noodles, basically like the length or the serving size, there is not much of like definition or anything like, but like because yakisoba would be like really just the noodles and the toppings or like, well, the size, right? So like people like expect like noodles, right? People like expect to be eating noodles from a yakisoba dish. So I'd say like serving size should be like bigger, and so you know if your customers expect like bigger serving size, then like you want to like make your noodles longer, So it's very easy to do that, like in this machine, like just make them longer, or like making shorter for the smaller serving size. It's very easy to do it. So once you set the length, right, and then just the machine just just portions it at that length for every single serving that it cuts. Okay, so that's beautiful. And so this is the sort of like kind of thinner side of um, noodles, right? Like for yakisoba noodles, kind of thinner side. It's like 1.5 millimeter. That's like, yeah, thin yakisoba noodles. It's like, well, if it's too thin, then like it's like because you have to like stir fry them, so they make it kind of break, or like too crispy, or so. Yeah, 1.5 millimeter, 1.4 millimeter would be like kind of the thinnest noodle size for you. So okay, let's go to a kitchen, right? And yeah, um, let's, okay. Yeah, so this is our kitchen, and yeah, so this is where like we teach our ramen school, like udon school, and yeah, and then we do like a lot of testing, different types of tests, like make different types of noodles, and so this is a squid ink noodles like we made like in yesterday. This is like in a flat one, flat noodles, and this is this is actually round shaped noodles. Kind of hard to see, but like a round shaped noodles, like that's like 1.8 millimeter, like 1.6 millimeters much, kind of like pasta size and spaghetti size, and it's yeah, like noodles with yeah, whole wheat powder, kneaded in them. It's like kind of thicker size. Yeah, it's like almost like 2 millimeter, and it's like thinner size. That's 1.6 millimeter. So different sizes, like different noodle texture, and in case like squid ink noodles, that's they're like different flavors, different color, and so we're going to do like two yakisoba dishes, and yeah, so like these are kind of like typical kind of toppings, for yakisoba, right? And it's like cabbage, like garlic, minced garlic, and then onions, and bean sprouts and carrots. So we're gonna do first the squid ink yakisoba, and yeah, for squid ink yakisoba, like we had already the toppings like already stir fried or prepared. Um, But yeah, so for this noodle, the cooking time is like about 2 minutes. Sorry, 3 minutes. And it really kind of depends on like, if you want to cook them, like kind of overcook them, and then stir fry them like kind of for longer to make them crispier, or you know, if you want to cook them like kind of shorter, to so like like make them stay hard, right, harder, and then stuff right like for a shorter time or something. Well, it kind of really depends on yeah, how you want to sort of like finish them, for different like kind of noodle texture you want your customers to experience. So yeah, it just really depends. And yeah, so like we make this kind of like tare from like our ramen school, and this is like the soy sauce like shoyu tare with like 3 different shoyu tare like actually blended. And this particular one, like actually, well, we actually make them by heating the soy sauce, like those like when those ingredients, the soy sauce, to get the flavors that can infuse into the soy sauce. And yeah, it was made the last, not the last, but like yeah, like the ramen school like we did in February. But we have like other stuff like this is the oil, flavored oil, and it's a leek oil. Like we could use that for like kind of stir frying as well. And this is also like flavored oil, like in this scallop oil. Like yeah, that's just sound of it like just makes Hokkien like really good stir fry noodles. There's another salt tare, and um, yeah, and yeah. So like we like many types of them that we make our school, and actually how you can make each of them is actually available at our online school. So if you yeah, so if you're interested in like learning how to make them, right? Yeah, you can check out our ramen online school. So we have like all these right toppings already like stir fried, and the sauce that yeah me made using some of the soy sauce tare, right, and then um, like Worcester sauce, right, and then some of them actually use the oyster sauce as well, um, and then add a bit of like sake as well like in there. And yeah, the squid ink noodles, and then you actually add like some of the squid meat in there as well. So that's um, ready to go. So it's sort of like kind of seafood um, type yakisoba noodles, and yeah. So Megan is going to start cooking another one. So we added the sauce, right, and then it's a liquid like so a little bit like liquid sauce, and then depending on the sauce that you use, kind of viscosity, the sauce itself has, right? Like will be like different, like, and then if you add like kind of like oyster sauce or something like that, it's not, it's less, it's a bit less liquid. So yeah, you so you can gonna have like less liquid in there, like but like more viscous kind of texture. Okay, and another yakisoba like we're gonna do it right is that like we're going to do that the noodles that we needed the whole wheat powder in it, right? And they are relatively thick actually. They are relatively thick. Um, I think it's like 2.2 millimeter, 2 millimeter. And then so what we're gonna do is that like we're going to because like it's the yakisoba. Like yaki means like burn or like stir fry or yeah. So we're actually going to yeah burn it, burn the noodles first, and make them crispy, right? And then we're going to like stir fry like all these like the toppings and others, right? To yeah, and then like combine them together, and then like well finish them with a sauce. Uh, this time around that's going to be like salt sauce, shiotare. And yeah, so we're using the induction cooker, which is actually it's almost like even though it's like tabletop, even though it's tabletop, like it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. So we have to be careful, like the what sort of like level of heat we set at that. So make sure that like you strain the water as much as you can, and um, yeah, strain the water as much as you can, and you know, and then yeah, you start like frying them. And then you need to sort of well kind of fry them like for a while because like there are a lot of water in there, and you have to like um, heat them heat them really well to kind of vaporize all the water before like noodles start getting like sort of like crispy, like burnt. And yeah, there are a lot of sort of like yakisoba specialty restaurants, shops in Japan, and so they have like a really big like the grill plate, right? Grill plate, so where they can do like all these, maybe like 10 servings of stir-fry noodle yakisoba, right? At the same time, and um, and then they like burn one side, and then like some of them like actually burn like both sides, and then um, yeah, and after that like they cook the all these um, yeah toppings and then everything, right, and then yeah, like, and then combine them with the noodles. Yeah, so we can start like frying the toppings. So start with the 통, 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 야, 통, 한 3분의 1. Okay, and we add a little bit of oil to the oil and the garlic too. Okay. Oh, that was cool. So once like the meat start like turning brownish, want to start like adding like all these vegetables. And there are many variations. Like you can add like all kinds of different types of vegetables that you think are going to be good for stir fry noodles, right? And yeah, and any kind of meat, any kind of like protein that you can think of, right? It's really up to you. And yeah, but like typically, right? It's like cabbage, like it's always almost always there, right? And then like some onions, right? Sliced onions, and the bean sprouts. Yeah, like bean sprouts, like well, usual suspect, and then um, maybe like some carrots, right? Like thinly thinly chopped like carrots, and if you want like make them like a little more like Chinese style, you may want to add like some some other like bok choy, or like some like celery, right? Celery um, and then yeah, some of them actually use like some like miso paste, like kind of spicy miso paste as well, like to add like a bit of spice to it. Um, yeah, so it really kind of depends on what's available and what you want to put in there, and then like for the color as well. So and after you yeah after like you cook the stir fried noodle, all these like toppings, you add the noodles, and then just kind of combine them well, and then sort of like finish with the sauce, and then yeah you want to yeah, I mean some of them like want to like actually get rid of like as much liquid moisture as possible, to sort of like kind of bring out the kind of crispness in the noodles, and also like some of the ingredients, some of the toppings as well. So then yeah, but like certain types of yakisoba, the like these yakisoba special noodles shops that serve, go for like stir frying noodles first, and then cause make them crispy, and then combine them with other kind of ingredients later to finish. So there are just two like they're like maybe like so, yeah, we just did like two patterns, right? So you first stir fry everything, right? Toppings, everything, and then cook the noodles, and then combine with the toppings, right? And then in this case, right, we stir fried noodles. I mean, we cook the noodles and then stir fry them, just noodle themselves, right? We make them crispy, and then stir fry all the toppings, and then combine them with the noodles. So there are two patterns, right? And then one of them like gives you like really crispy noodles. Another one gives you like kind of soft, but like kind of, the same like kind of chewy and firm noodles. So yeah, so these are the two patterns like yakisoba you can go for, and there are many different types of like yakisoba you can do, and some of the yakisoba specialty shop like actually provides you with customization, right? Customization, and it's very easy to do it. Like just pick, let your customers pick the toppings and noodles. You can have like probably a few types of noodles, and the seasoning, and and that's very easy. Yeah, like what kind of fiber you want, they want, and what kind of like protein they want. Yeah, so that's very easy. So that's what we had for this class. And but yakisoba noodles is very casual and simple, but like at the same time, like there are many things that you can do differently. So thank you so much. Bye bye.